Today's video is focusing on protecting our display as well as our cameras on our S23 series of devices. We're going to take a look at a glass protector, a UV film, as well as glass element protection for the back of our devices, the S23, the S23 Plus, as well as the S23 Ultra. All of these are made by Whitestone. They're known for their dome glass, and now we're talking about their UV film, element protection for the cameras on the back, as well as a case made specifically for the S23 Ultra. This is TK, and let's talk about some protection for our display as well as our cameras on our S23 series of devices. Like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos on the channel. So what we have in front of us is the entire kit. Now, what we have essentially is a single case. This is going to be the S23 Ultra case. I didn't see another one that was sent to me, but overall, this is going to be a great case to be able to use with your device. So you can go ahead and just basically insert your device, and you can definitely enjoy the color of your phone and not going to have any problem with it. It provides an opening for the back, but it is definitely flush, so no wobble. Button configuration here, and of course opening on the bottom and on the back. We have basically just the ability of seeing our device. So it's a see-through color, so you'll be able to enjoy definitely whichever color you decide to pick up for your S23 Ultra series of, well, the S23 Ultra specifically for this case. Now, once you have the actual case on, you'll notice that you can definitely enjoy the color of your device. It has an opening on the back, and this actually allows us to be able to use their protection, glass protection for the elements on the back. We'll talk about that in a second. Of course, volume rocker, power button are covered, opening for the microphone at the top, opening for the S Pen as well as the speaker and a USB-C on the bottom, and of course you have a very nice protected S Pen, so you don't have to worry about it on there. Wireless charging, reverse wireless charging is going to be perfectly fine. Again, this case is made specifically for the S23 Ultra. Now, as far as everything else that we have in here, we have two different types of protection for our glass on the front. We're going to talk about these as well. These are the element glass protection that are going to be available directly for our S23, S23 Plus, since they technically have the same configuration on the back. And of course, one for the S23 Ultra, since we have actually 5 different camera elements as well as an LED flash. So two different configuration. You can either buy the S23 or S23 Plus, let it focus, or you can go straight for the S23 Ultra. And then from there, we have two different options. We have 2-pack here. This is going to be the glass protection. It's a 2-pack glass protection Whitestone dome glass. Now this one, obviously, as we've seen before, full response, clear, full clarity, full coverage, and of course, scratch protection, blue light using the actual blue light option that they include in here, and full filling because they're using the adhesive sticks as we've seen before. Now, we also do have a UV Gen film. Now, that's going to be basically more of a film installation. Still actually utilizes the UV light, so this is something that's still included in the box. And of course, a much easier, simpler installation. We're going to test this out. We have two different versions of the S23 Ultra, a blue and a green one. We'll definitely check it out there. Now, the same configuration works for the S23 as well as the S23 Plus. They do also include this extra case here. This is the dome glass easy installation. Because the S23 and the S23 Plus are more of a flat display, this is going to be much easier to install. So they have two different versions. There's the standard pack. This is going to be pretty much what you see here, full glass with the kit and everything in there, similar to what we saw with the S23 Ultra. And this is something that you're able to pick up, and it is a 2-pack. Or you can definitely pick up the 3-pack option, which is a dome glass easy installation for the S23. Simple, easy, and of course, still protects the device just as good as the other option. Now, between the two kits, what we're getting here essentially is everything that you need to be able to do your installation. On the UV film, it's going to be pretty straightforward. Obviously, you can imagine I've already done the installation on my device. They include one UV light, 2 of these packets that include the wet wipe and the sticky removal for basically any kind of lint that may be left on the device. And of course, 2 of these packets that include the UV light or the UV film installed in there. So you have 2 installations separately, and they keep them separately and hermetically sealed, so you don't have to worry about them. And the instructions on how to install it are all present here on the back of the package himself, or you can also look up this video and it gives you a step-by-step video instruction on how to do that. And as you're seeing in the video clip that I'm showing you right now, this quick time lapse that I did it myself, installation is actually super fast, very easy and very quick. Make sure that when you have a chance to be able to basically do your installation, that you're in a level, dust-free environment, either like a bathroom after you run some hot water and let the humidity kind of soak up all the dust in the air. Or for me, I've been using it basically in my kitchen, which works really nicely for me. So the installation of the UV film is really easy, and once you have it installed, for the most part, you're pretty much set. The second kit that we're talking about here is, this is again the dome glass. This is what they're known for. This is their bread and butter, for the lack of a better term. And here again, they include everything. The kit includes enough material to be able to do the installation twice, because again, it has 2 different configurations. We have the frame, the drop option here for the glue sticks. They do include 3 in case you make a mistake. One key note though is if you ever do make a mistake installing it and you notice that you need to remove it, remove the glass without allowing it to cure with the UV light, and then of course clean up the glass and you can redo the system again with the additional stick. They do provide us with a little stopper, all the different materials that you need, the soak absorption pads on the side that you insert them in case any spillover, wet wipes, as well as the UV light, and two glass options, two glass protectors that are included in the package. Now, all you need obviously is one. They also include these little options here to be able to block all the sides of the device in case there's any leakage of adhesive on the side, as well as the speaker earpiece. The glass piece here is pretty much straightforward. I already used one to install on my device. We'll talk about that in a second. And all you have to do is just follow the instructions. And again, they have instructions in the box, as well as an installation video that you can definitely follow. So in front of us are the two S23 Ultras. Again, on the left one here, I did the glass installation. This is the glass installation that we saw in the video real quick. Now the fingerprint sensor does work, but it seems a little bit slower, and that's because we really need to re-register that fingerprint sensor once we have the glass installation. So first and foremost, I'll say this. Here you go, we'll put in my finger, give it a second. It seems like it's not registering right away, but it does pick up after a second. Now the UV film did not have as much of a same concern. It's for the most part because it's a much more closer and thinner material that they're using in here. Very much the same configuration. You can re-register your fingerprint. That's going to be recommended, obviously. But if you're not having any issues, you're pretty much set to go right out of the box. On the actual unit with the glass protection, you just need to go directly into the settings tab. First thing, under the display setting, you should turn on the touch sensitivity to make sure that your device has extra touch sensitivity to be able to pick up on the glass protector, since this is something that we definitely don't have turned on by default. I had this turned on for my last device, and when I imported my device settings directly, it did actually bring that in over. So display, touch sensitivity, turn that on, and then of course, after that, go ahead and re-register your fingerprint sensor. And you can see right there, done. I'll go ahead and say done. I'll go ahead and turn off the display and let the fingerprint come up, and it unlocks much faster. Everything works the same. Again, the biggest thing that you'll notice once you put in the glass protector is that it does have a little bit longer to read, and that's because it's not familiar with the material that's in the front. It's recognizing your finger or your fingerprint without a glass protector. Once we have anything on it, seems like the UV doesn't have as much of a concern, but at least on the glass protector, this is definitely going to be appreciated. Of course, it goes without saying, we do need to make sure that this works directly with cases available. Now, of course, the one that comes straight from Whitestone, let's go ahead and let it focus. You'll notice that it does actually go all the way to the edge, and it does not have any problems. The camera is open at the top. On the bottom, there is a little bit of a gap there, but again, pretty much most of the time when the device is put on a table, God forbid it falls down, it's going to be protected. Now, the last thing we need to do is put those protections, obviously, that we have as well on those optics on the back. And of course, last but not least is the UV film. This one should not be any concern at all. Just go ahead and put it in. Same configuration, no bubbles, and the installation is actually pretty well. The one thing I will say though, in the video that I showed you, I didn't get a chance to show that to you at the end. Make sure you use the UV light, because this is a UV Gen film, so it does require us to use the UV light to make sure that it cures all the way. But for the most part, once you have that done, your device is perfectly fine. It works just the way as you can imagine, and it works really, really nice. Now, for this installation, they do provide us with the sticky material to remove any kind of dust. First and foremost, we're going to go ahead and clean it. Make sure there is no, actually, kind of anything that's sitting around it to prevent it from adhering, because it's essentially going to match the rings around there overall. Once you have that done and you can see that it is pretty clean, go ahead and bring the glass protection option. It does come with its own frame, so just go ahead and remove the back of it. So you'll notice it's pretty much just ready to go. Align it to your cameras and then set it down, and then pretty much just push down on the entire experience so that it actually releases it directly from the actual camera experience here. And of course, there's no more bubbles and anything like that. Just make sure you push all of that in there, and then go ahead and remove your configuration from there. So you notice it is actually gone from here. The glass protection is gone from there. And then just using the clean cloth, you can go ahead and just basically make sure that it applies perfectly, and of course all around the three lenses. And this should be perfectly fine with any case that you're using. So go ahead and insert it first from the top so that you don't have any kind of concerns over there. And you notice there's a space all around the lenses, and then now the lenses actually have a nice little cap on top of them to protect them from any kind of issue. It does change the color a little bit, but again, keep in mind it is protecting your device a lot better. So glass protection on the front, UV film protection on the front, or as well as of course coverage on the back. And this is actually looks and feels pretty decent. The overall installation for either options are obviously going to be no more than 10 minutes at the maximum, and that's going to be for the glass installation. The UV film actually is pretty simple. There's no liquids, there's nothing. As you saw in the video, it's pretty much straightforward. You put it on, just take your time and make sure you're in an environment that is dust free, either in a shower or in the bathroom after turning on some hot water and letting all of the moisture basically suck all the dust out of the air, or if you're in an area you know there is very little dust. For me, the kitchen seems to be the best area, and of course it was well leveled, especially when we were doing that installation. The one thing I will say, make sure you use that little rubber eraser looking Whitestone domed glass thing that we get the little square after you let the glass, the adhesive go all through the actual glass, so you see that there's no more bubbles or areas open over there. You put that on for about 15 seconds, allowing it to actually provide that nice little seal over the fingerprint sensor so you get the best performance. Make sure you re-register your fingerprint sensor, turn on high sensitivity, and you're pretty much set for the glass option. The UV light didn't need those options, but it doesn't hurt having those on as well. If your device supports it, definitely make those on. And then of course that last little protection for the glass options on the back, I always feel like those are the things that you always want to make sure that you protect, regardless of the fact that, you know, even though they're made with high quality glass, there are opportunities where you may land on something that's a little bit sharp. This will protect it from the front, from the back, and then with the case, you're covered all around. So really good protection for our device. And of course, providing us some really good aesthetics, because definitely you can enjoy your device and not have to worry about if it drops, God forbid. The glass will take the brute force of that, and you can replace the glass with the second pack. And of course, buy additional ones later on just as replacements. So don't put away or don't get rid of that UV light. Thank you very much to Whitestone Dome Glass for allowing me to check this out on the S23 Plus, well, the S23 Ultra, but they have options for the S23 Plus as well as the standard S23. Like and subscribe as usual. Thank you very much for the support. I'll see you in the next video.